Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole and welcome to Monetary Makeup. Alright, I'm so excited for today's video, you guys. So I was finally able to get my hands on Wayne Goss's brand new blush and highlighter palette. So these are called the Weightless Veil Blush Palette, and the shade I picked up is Desert Blossom. So I'm going to be reviewing, demoing, and wear testing this brand new blush palette from the fabulous Wayne Goss. And while I review this new Wayne Goss palette, the topic of the day is going to be what insurance options do I have if I do not have employer coverage. So if you're excited to get started and enjoy the video while you're watching, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and let's get started right now. So as I mentioned, the shade I picked up is called Desert Blossom, and the two specific shades in here are Nectar and Petal. So this is what those two shades look like. Now, he did release another palette as well as this one. However, I felt this palette would best suit my undertone. It appears to be a little bit more fair and neutral, and the other palette looked to be a little bit warm and a little bit more deep. Now, as far as the packaging goes, it is Wayne Goss's traditional sleek black packaging, and this retails for $45, and you get 19 grams of product. Holy cow, you guys, look at how big this palette is. It's like half the size of my face. In case you're new to this channel, I'm in my mid-30s, I have a fair to light cool undertone, and I have oily dehydrated acne-prone skin, and I'm also starting to get fine lines. And part of the reason I was so excited to test out Wayne's blush and highlighter formula is because he is well known for taking into account all ages and ethnicities. So this is supposed to be a great formula for mature skin. So first, let me get started with some swatches for you guys. I have not tested this palette out yet. Okay, so it feels very creamy. That is the blush shade right there. Now, just upon swatching the blush, it does appear to be a sheer to buildable formula, so it's not overly pigmented. Oh my gosh, you guys, these feel like pure silk upon the swatches at least. So here are what the two shades look like. So I would say the blush is kind of like a dusty pink leaning on the neutral side. And then look at that beautiful highlighter. There's no glitter, no chunk, just a nice, beautiful sheen. Look at that. Even from far away, it catches the light. All right, lastly, I am all about versatility. So I not only am going to be testing out this blush palette on the face, but also on my eyes. Now, the only thing I have on as far as eyeshadow goes, I just wanted to deepen up the crease just a little bit. So I went in with Wayne's Tourmaline Luxury Eye Palette, and the only shade that I used is this kind of taupey brown right here. I just keep looking at my hand. This is so beautiful. To get started, I'm going in with a rougher number 2. All right, so as I mentioned, I just have a little bit of that brown shade from Tourmaline. So I just want to see if that pink will actually show up over this. Now, I'm not sure which one is Nectar and which one is Petal. I'm assuming Nectar is the blush and Petal is the highlighter, but I could be wrong. And you do have the name of the shades on the back of the palette. I do want to mention this video is not sponsored, and I did purchase this palette myself. Ooh, this is pretty. Now, I typically prefer more cool toned blush palettes just because I have a fair cool undertone myself. However, I really just wanted to try something a little bit different. So when I saw that Wayne released these more natural, almost nude pinky shades, I thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of go outside of my comfort zone and pick up a shade that I wouldn't normally wear. Now, the other palette does look beautiful. However, it appears to have a much more warm and deeper tone to that palette. So I'm really glad that I picked up this Desert Blossom, at least so far. All right, I think that this pink looks beautiful with that taupey brown, so let's get the other eye on. Now, being that this is my first blush palette from Wayne, I do have several of his brushes, which, oh my gosh, you guys, his Edit Collection brushes completely changed my makeup game. I say that all the time, but it's because his Edit brushes, they all come to a point. This is one of the bigger sizes, but for example, a smaller one, this is the number 6. Because they come to that point, you can really get a precise application, especially if you have smaller eyes, hooded eyes, anything like that. I don't really think I have hooded eyes, but one of the issues I run into is my brow bone, which is typically up here, right here in this area, it really protrudes. So it almost gives the illusion of a hooded eye. So those brushes have just been a complete game changer for me. I was like, okay, something is happening. There's just a little fuzzy on my brush. Let's get that off. These appear to be blending out very easy on the eyes. All right, I'm just going to take his number 4 brush and just do a little bit of blending on the edges. All right, wow, I don't have mascara on yet, but I am really enjoying how that pink correlates with that taupey brown. What do you guys think? Do you like this pink on the lids? Are you feeling it? Are you not? I think it looks really pretty. All right, I did just add a little bit of this brown from Tourmaline on the lower lash line. Now, what I would like to do next is smoke out the lower lash line with the blush. Wayne Goss, number 7. All right, so I'm going to dip into the blush shade. I am going to tap it off. I typically don't tap off my brushes, but because I already did my base makeup, that's why I'm doing it right now. And let's smudge this out. I'm focusing more of the blush towards the inner corner of my eye, kind of replicating what I did on the top. Oh, my contacts are so dry. All right, I didn't know we were going for a monochromatic look today, but I guess that's what we're doing today. Okay, that is beautiful. I could absolutely see myself wearing these two combinations almost every day. I feel like it's a very natural yet elegant look. There's just something about the tone of this blush shade. It's just beautiful. All right, now the fun part. So let's try using the highlighter as an inner corner highlight. So I'm not going to spray the brush. I just want to see how it does on its own. So far, I'm not the biggest fan of this shade, the highlighter, for an inner corner highlight, just because it is such a natural palette. I feel like you can't really see it. I can in person if I'm looking up really close, but yeah, I need something a little bit lighter to really give me that extra pop. All right, so I would say no for the inner corner highlight, but next let's try it for the brow bone. Ooh, okay, interesting. So I do feel like it is showing up more on the brow bone than it is for the inner corner. Can you guys see that? I can already tell that this highlighter is going to be kind of like that wet sheen look. So it's not super punchy on the eyes, but I would imagine on the skin it's going to really glow. All right, you guys were really close, but I just wanted you to see. So I'm not really seeing it for an inner corner as I mentioned, but I feel like for a brow bone highlight, has a really natural kind of luminous shift. So I do like it for this area. All right, let me add a little bit of mascara and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, I just added a little bit of mascara. So yeah, I am really a fan of how that pink looks on the eyes. What do you guys think? Do you like it? All right, now onto the fun part. Now let's move on to the cheeks. Wayne Goss, number 3. All right, so I am a huge fan of using Wayne's technique. So he suggests to do the highlighter first and then the blush second. So that's what I'm going to do today. All right, so I just dipped into the highlighter. So let's see. Ooh, it is that wet sheen look. However, it does appear to be very natural. So I want to build it up a little bit. Now the brush I'm using is also a brush that is more of a natural application. So I'm sure if I went in with a more dense brush, I would get more payoff right away. So initially I was a little bit worried this highlighter was going to be too deep for me, but I don't think it is. Can you guys see that? Look how pretty. Wow. That does have that wet sheen look, which I personally love that in a highlighter. I'm not into, a ton of glitter or anything super severe. So I would say this is a very natural highlight though. I don't think if I was walking on the street, I don't think anyone would be able to say, oh my gosh, she is wearing highlighter. It just looks like that natural lit from within glow. So I do have to say, even when I am dipping my brush in this highlighter, it feels very creamy. You know how sometimes when you dip your brush into a highlighter, you can just tell it's going to be very powdery? This does not feel like that. It feels very smooth. This is so pretty, you guys. All right, highlighter on this side. I'm hoping the camera is picking up that glow. So my initial thoughts about this highlighter is if you are looking for that wham bam, outer space, super strong highlighter, I don't think you would enjoy this. While it does provide a very beautiful wet sheen, as I keep saying, it's a very natural highlighter. Now, it's kind of interesting because, like I said, I initially thought this shade was going to be a little bit too deep for my skin tone, but it definitely is not. I feel like it looks like I just have a natural, healthy glow, but you guys are gonna have to let me know what you think. All right, let's move on to the blush. Sonia G Lotus Detail. All right, I have no idea how pigmented these blushes are, so I'm just going to lightly tap my brush a couple of times. All right, here's the fun part. Wow, that is so pretty. Again, very, very natural. So I'm gonna build it up a little bit just so that way you guys can see a little bit better. I know whenever you film, it's a little bit more difficult to see the actual shade, so I'm gonna build this up. All right, I'm going for kind of a 90s blush today, you guys. I love wrapping my blush up around the temple. Okay, I am so excited. This is the perfect natural flush blush color. The formula so far is so easily blendable. And what's interesting is even though this is so natural and almost like a sheer pigmentation, it builds so easily. So if you take a look now, you can definitely see the blush, whereas when I first applied it, it was ever so slightly there. But yeah, no blush, blush. All right, what I'm really enjoying is these build very easy. I know nowadays everything's kind of, all about the most pigmentation that you can have, but as someone who is not 20 anymore, I really appreciate having control of my products that I use. So this is very easily controllable. I'm not having any issues building up the color. Now I am not tapping off my brush for this blush, and I'm not noticing any fallout on my table or on my jacket or anything like that. I'm going to link Wayne's video down below as well, his reveal video. I just love how elegant he is and the way he explains things. Now, when he explained this blush palette as just so pretty, I definitely have to agree. What do you guys think about this blush and highlighter on the cheeks? All right, I am all about a little bit of blush across the tip of the nose. I feel like it kind of gives you that youthful sunlit glow. So pretty is right. I almost forgot to add highlighter to my nose. I was so excited about dipping into the blush. So I'm just going to take a number 3 Wayne Goss brush. And yes, I love highlighter on the nose. All right, so far, loving these shades. I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup, which pretty much is just lipstick. So next, let's cut into the topic of the day, and then I will meet you back here for my final thoughts. Welcome to the topic of the day. So one of the most common questions I get when someone is in between employers is, what should I do about health insurance? So if you are not on Medicare or Medicaid, then there are basically 2 options you would want to consider. So if you live in the States, the first option is called short-term insurance. So short-term insurance typically has moderate to low premiums, and they typically only cover you in the worst case scenario, such as a catastrophe. So a lot of the times this insurance is referred to as catastrophic coverage. So typically this insurance is not going to cover regular office visits or typical checkups. However, in the worst case scenario if something were to happen to you, what's great about having at least short-term insurance is that they put a limit on how much you can be charged out of pocket. Now, personally, I wouldn't suggest this insurance as the very best option for everyone, especially because it doesn't cover most regular insurance needs. However, it is still better than having nothing in most scenarios. Now, the second option is called ACA Obamacare, also known as the Affordable Care Act. Now, one of the benefits about the Affordable Care Act is that they cannot discriminate based on health. So this means that regardless of your health status, as long as you have the prerequisites to qualify for the coverage in other areas, such as losing employer coverage, then this may be a great option. Now, the other great thing about the ACA, in addition to not having to undergo any sort of health underwriting, is that the premiums are income-based. So of course, this means depending on what your income is, that will reflect your premium. Now, if you are looking into the ACA coverage and you notice that your premiums are pretty high, then I highly recommend looking into a tax credit. Now, this is where discussing these questions with a CPA would really come in handy. So basically, there are certain tax credits that you may qualify for that can help lower the cost of your premium. So basically, the two options, if you are in between employers or you recently lost employer coverage and you are not eligible for Medicaid and Medicare, then the two options you would want to consider is short-term insurance or ACA. Don't forget to comment monetary makeup down below if you did enjoy this topic of the day. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Next, let's cut into my final thoughts. All right, before I get into my final thoughts, just wanted to show you what the skin is looking like now that I have my lip products applied. So what do you guys think about this Desert Blossom Blush Palette? Now, because you do get almost 20 grams of product in these palettes, I do feel like the price is justified. I think it would take me months, if not years, to go through an entire palette. But of course, that is just my opinion, just sharing my thoughts. All right, so first we have to discuss the formula. So first of all, when it comes to this highlighter, I am pretty picky about my highlighters because I don't like any sort of chunk, any sort of glitter. So as far as the highlighter goes, I really love this formula. I don't feel like it emphasizes any of my texture. It's not gritty. It doesn't have any glitter in it. And overall, it gives me that wet Sheen natural lit from within glow. And that is exactly what I'm looking for in a highlighter. Now, if you are looking for a highlighter that is going to be, wham bam, thank you ma'am, outer space, in your face, such as the Kaleidos Space Age highlighter, then I don't necessarily know if this highlighter would be right for you. However, if you are looking for a highlighter that doesn't emphasize texture, looks great over the pores, and really gives you that natural lit from within glow, then I would recommend this palette. Now, I am also really impressed with this blush. Now, much like the highlighter having that natural lit from within glow, I do feel like the blush is very similar in the sense that it is a more sheer to buildable formula. So I really appreciate that you have control over the amount of blush you would like to apply. Now, if you are looking for a blush that is extremely pigmented on the first dip, then this shade is not like that. Now, typically I do go for more cool tone highlighters and blushes. However, I am really happy I picked up Desert Blossom. I actually really love these shades. I love the highlighter. It's not too deep, it's not too light, it's just perfect. And even though this blush isn't cool tone, I feel like it is neutral enough that it gives me that natural flush. So yeah, overall, I am extremely happy with this purchase. I'm definitely going to be picking up more shades in the future. Honestly, this is one of my favorite blushes I have ever tried, as well as the highlighter. I just absolutely love the formula, love the shade, just can't say enough good things about it. All right, you guys, so short and sweet outro. Highly recommend this blush palette if you were thinking about picking it up. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys.